Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott expected to miss multiple weeks for the Cowboys with a hamstring injury. That is per multiple reports on Monday afternoon. He was hurt during the second half of Sunday's loss to the Falcons and did not return. So with Prescott out, that means that Cooper Rush is going to take over as the team's starting quarterback beginning with this weekend's NFC East showdown against the Eagles. On top of the hamstring, Dak also was getting some treatment on his hand, but the hamstring, of course, is the concern. That's what's going to keep him out. And it was a bad news day for the Cowboys as well because CeeDee Lamb also didn't complete the game. AC joint in his right shoulder was hurt in that game as he was going for a touchdown catch. Didn't make it. Drake London did make a touchdown catch, but has a hip injury. That kept him out of that game. A.J. Brown for the Eagles hurt his knee versus the Jaguars. And #1 draft pick Caleb Williams, the quarterback of the Chicago Bears, left with a left ankle injury versus Arizona. All right, so let's talk about these injuries as we do on Mondays. We welcome in CBS Sports HQ's injury analyst, Marty Jaramillo, for his insights. Marty, let's start with Dak. Reports Monday afternoon saying he's going to miss multiple games with the hamstring that took him out of the loss in the third quarter. If he's set to miss multiple weeks, which it looks like he's going to, what does that tell you about the severity of this hamstring injury?
Jeremy, always great to be here. But listen, a 1-2 punch for the Cowboys, not only losing the game to the Falcons, but now we have the injury to Dak Prescott. He sustained a right hamstring tear. Now, my initial concerns were confirmed. Why? Because he himself said during the press conference he felt something he had never had. Why is that concerning? Well, as an NFL player, there's few injuries you've ever had and few symptoms you haven't gone through. MRI confirmed a significant tear to his hamstring. I expect him to miss a minimum of 3 weeks. But as we know, today, tomorrow is when the pain, spasm, and inflammation set in, which can accelerate or basically increase his time off him to 4 to 6 weeks. NFL teams know if you aren't conservative with hamstring tears, they can only lead to a long-term problem. Remember last year when Justin Jefferson was out 7 weeks with a hamstring tear, and he was the #1 pick across fantasy leagues, I think, including my own, and it took him a long time. But he's having a great season because he was managed correctly last year.
All right, so the Eagles and Cowboys set to face off on Sunday. They'll be without Dak. Dak's #1 target, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, sprained the AC joint in his right shoulder trying to haul in a touchdown pass. The reports are saying that he's likely going to be available for this game against the Eagles. So how do you treat that injury? What's the outlook here long term, Marty?
You know, with CeeDee Lamb, what are we doing here? Adding insult to injury for the Cowboys. He actually landed multiple times on his right shoulder, sustaining what we call an AC separation, where the tip of the collarbone, right, separates from the shoulder blade, the acromioclavicular joint. Now, rarely needs surgery and almost 100% of the time heals on its own, but extremely painful. You saw that he was in a lot of pain, clutching his shoulder, and kudos to the medical staff that really tended to him and try to really give him some calm during those moments. Now, all week long, he will be dealing with pain management treatments, multiple times a day, and I fully expect him to play this week, but in a significant amount of pain despite the injury, and he'll be treated for pain management all week, but he will have a day-to-day designation. Kind of dodged the bullet, and with him in the lineup, those hopes for the Eagles, I'm sorry for the Cowboys. Stay alive, whatever they have left.
Yeah, right. Also in that game, Atlanta wide receiver Drake London knocked out with a hip injury while completing a touchdown grab in the first half. He was on the bike, looked like he was trying to ride through it, but really couldn't. What did you see there, Marty?
Man, if you saw his extension, he went all the way up and basically snagged that ball out of the air from Kirk Cousins. Caught the ball, but landed directly on his right hip. Sustained what we call a hip pointer, which is essentially a serious contusion or bone bruise to the outside of the hip. Immediately after that type of impact, pain, spasm, weakness set in. It's almost very difficult to run, and especially changing of direction. We saw him immediately on the sideline on the bike, trying to keep it loose. Testing today included multiple scans, MRI, X-rays, because in rare cases, sometimes it could be a hairline fracture that could extend the length, but he received a negative on that, which is fantastic. Now, pain spasm set in today and tomorrow. I expect him to be day-to-day. My concern is this weekend he will play, but his productivity could be affected because that pain and spasm really affect lateral mobility and change of directions. So we'll see how productive he will be.
And Falcons have a game this week against the Saints as they go to New Orleans for Week 10. Philadelphia wide receiver A.J. Brown, he's already missed a few games this season with a hamstring injury, and according to reports, he avoided a serious knee injury Sunday. He's expected to be fine. Marty, that's certainly great news for the Eagles here.
Absolutely. We know when A.J. Brown's in the lineup, they always have a chance, and the hopes are still alive in Philadelphia. Against the Jaguars, he's saying that hit on the outside of his left knee, which basically buckled the inside of his knee, making both his MCL, medial collateral ligament, and ACL vulnerable. MRI was negative today, so yes, he dodged a bullet, but he's left with this MCL sprain, which is very painful, but guess what? Heals 100% of the time without surgery, so that's great news. But it is a pain management situation all week, dealing with multiple treatments to deal with that pain. That ligament is very wide and also very thick and strong, so it rarely requires any more intervention other than traditional physical therapy for pain management. Fingers crossed for him. If he's in the lineup, great news for those Eagles fans.
Yeah, and I think a lot of our ex-NFL players are all saying at this point of the season, it's all about pain management, no matter what position you're playing.
Everything hurts.
Right. Eagles, Cowboys, as mentioned, that's going to be in the 4 p.m. window this week. You're going to be able to see that game on CBS. Lastly, the #1 pick in this year's draft, Bears quarterback Caleb Williams, hurt his left ankle in that blowout loss to Arizona. He is expected to be fine. What did you see with this one, Marty?
You know, Caleb is already quite the mature professional athlete. He was tackled, rolled up by a call-up player from the practice squad of the Cardinals. He wrapped him up, and what Caleb described as he gator rolled him. Okay, if you can picture some of those reality show TVs where they try to grab that alligator, right? But instead of trying to resist, he says he just let go because he knew when you resist, bad things happen. As he said, you can get a high ankle sprain, you can get a fracture actually. So he just let go. Appears to be a minor ankle sprain. He'll be taped, well supported for the game, but he will play day-to-day designation there. Definitely dodged the bullet.
Yeah, another one about pain management. Bears welcome the Patriots coming up on
You and
Sunday.
I both might need that.
Yeah, right? Yeah. HQ Sports injury analyst Marty Jaramillo breaking down some of these Sunday injuries for you. Now, every Sunday afternoon, we are your second screen. Every Sunday night, we are your home for all the recaps. Everything that happens in the NFL on Sunday, it's all here and it's all free on CBS Sports HQ.